I went to the new student dialogue that was about Clemson being the second happiest campus, and it was a dialogue on mental health at Clemson. Did my group achieve a true dialogue? I think that when we were together as one massive group, we really did not achieve a true dialogue because no one really wanted to share like anything deep or personal information about themselves. However, when we were split into smaller groups, we really did have a true dialogue, or at least some people within my smaller group did, and people shared some personal stories, and it helped us all to relate to each other, and once one person opened up, then everyone else kind of did as well. And were there active voices in my group? There were some active voices, specifically my group leaders, who would always try and start some kind of discussion with everyone else within individual groups, and also together as bigger groups. And some other people who in the group were more comfortable with sharing like stories about friends and family, or even stories about themselves and their experiences. There were also many reserve voices. I think more reserved than active. When we were all in one massive group, there are definitely more reserve voices because people again did not really want to just share personal stories to people that they didn't even know. However, even more of the reserve voices, or more people who were more reserved to start off with, did share their experiences later. What role did I play in the group? In the beginning, I really didn't have that much to say, and I didn't really want to share anything personal because, again, I really didn't know anyone. And even when we broke off into smaller groups, I wasn't the first one to say anything. But once one of my leaders shared a very personal story of himself and some of the struggles that he went through when he first came to college, and like even before college, I think is when he had some issues. I actually told a story of my own, which was nice to share with people, because I've really never shared that many personal stories to anyone who I'm not really very close to, and even people who I am really close to. It's not something that I want like everyone to know. So that was kind of nice to have like that sense of openness, and that like no one was there to judge me, and no one was going to judge anyone else, because everyone's been through some experiences in their life that have been pretty difficult. This dialogue definitely was not what I expected it to be. It was more about disorders and like personal problems, past stories, about being happy here, about like happiness before, and like wanting to continue to be happy here. And our main leader told us his story and like his past depression, and how that actually brought him here to Clemson. And then once we broke off into smaller groups and ranked like things that were most important to us and what things represented, best represented us in our social identity wheel. And after that, we were split into different groups, and we were each given 2 disorders, and we were given the task to draw what a person with each of these disorders looked like. My group was given bipolar and depression, so we drew like a double face for the bipolar person, and then like a really sad and upset person for depression. And some of the other ones were schizophrenia, ADD, bulimia, anorexia, and OCD. And our leader explained to the entire class that we had all failed to do what he had asked us, and he explained to us that a person with every disorder looks just like a normal person. Like, people hide what's wrong with them and their issues, and each and every person is the same and should be treated the same, even if they have a disorder and something wrong with them. We also told our own personal stories again, and people try to connect from that, like with similar past experiences. Okay. This dialogue being a part of Library 100, I don't think that it was that helpful. I mean, it was definitely different. It's not something that I expected it to be. I think part of that depends on which discussion you chose to be a part of, or which dialogue you chose to be a part of. But I guess it kind of helps you to understand what a dialogue is, and that it's not a one-sided argument, and it's not just a discussion. Like there's more to it. And I guess it helps people to go outside of their comfort zone, because that's what my leaders try to get us to do, even though not everyone did that, because not everyone wanted to do that. So it can be helpful for people who maybe are willing to put in like the extra effort to go outside of their comfort zone, but not everyone's going to do it, because you can't force someone to do it or to express their voice and their opinion. Um, it was definitely different, but I think it's a relatively good addition to Library 100.